Hi, everybody. I'm Philip Jones, sometimes known as the Martini Whisperer. It's a story for another time. I'm here today to sit down with David Ridden, the president of the Australian Distillers Association, also founder and head honcho at Grandad Jack's Distillery on the beautiful Gold Coast there. I've got to get up there sometime and experience that. G'day, David. How are you today?
Morning, Philip. How are you? I'm great,
Doing
thanks.
fine.
Little bit of winter weather here on the Gold Coast today, so
That
no
never
sun, bit
happens,
of
surely
rain,
not.
but I feel like I'm more like in Sydney or Melbourne today. But it's pretty good most of the year, so we can't complain, right?
I bet it is. I can't wait to get up there. Some good stuff happening in your neck of the woods, distilling wise, that's for sure. That's for sure. So I want to give a bit of a chat to you next 15 minutes or so, just partly about where the industry's at right now. How's the ADA fit in the scheme of things, and of course the conference coming up in Adelaide in June. So we've gone from and I've been tracking this for a long time now. It's my little passion of the industry and telling your stories, the distiller stories, and things like that over the years. And on the weekend, I added just another few distillers to my website directory of malt makers. It's come a long way in a short time, hasn't it? The industry.
It's come a long, long way. I think when we first got involved with our distillery, I want to say 9 years ago now. I think the first conference we ever went to, for example, there was less than 100 people there. Um, and so the growth we've seen, particularly post COVID, has been quite phenomenal. And but also challenging at the same time for the industry. But I think people just have so much passion for it, right? Um, I see a lot of people. The growth has come from obviously some some relief from a small producer point of view, from some tax reform, and that really changed the game and really supercharged how many distilleries we had. And along with that, the ATO sort of changed their tact on who they were going to allow to have manufacturers licenses, and so that sort of reduction in the sort of you know capability from the tax office to give those licenses out, making it much easier for people. Those two things combined has
Yep.
really rocketed the industry forward. So it's whether or not it's a good or bad thing, time will tell. I think economy has a lot to do with that as well. But we definitely have a lot more distillers now, and when you go to a conference these days, you've got 400 or 500 people there. It's pretty nice to see.
Yeah, and I think the sense I get also is that all boats rise together. That there is a sense of camaraderie in the industry, isn't it?
It's a phenomenal industry. I mean, I think this year I'm something like 37 or 38 years working for myself,
Hmm.
and I've been in different industries, and I have to say that the distilling industry is by far the most collaborative. Like, you really don't have competitors, and I know what I've seen over the year. No one treats each other as a competitor,
Yes.
and that's incredibly refreshing to come into an industry where it's not fight all the time. People are very collaborative, very friendly. We all talk to each other on a regular basis, and I think yes, we're all in the spirits industry. Yes, we all produce spirit,
Mm.
but our brands are so different,
Yes.
so vast. Business models are slightly different, so it's a really phenomenal industry to be in from that point of view.
And the motivations can be so different too, can't they? I often say to people that distillers kind of part mad scientist, part chemist, part engineer, part whatever. There's this really interesting do I say alchemy that goes on in terms of the personality types, but also the inspirations behind the labels as well.
Yeah, and I see it quite phenomenal. If I look at our total membership in Australia, I split it up into sort of three areas, and there's sort of that over 80% of our members are still very small. So that they're distillers that are not necessarily distilling as a day job. It's their hobby, their passion. They have, if you want, for want of a better word, a real job
Yep.
during the week, and they enjoy nights and weekends in their distillery doors and at farmers markets and producing fantastic Australian made spirits, but it's not their full time gig. And that's, as I said, that's around 80-85% of our total membership.
Mm.
So when you look at that from that point of view, we're still very much a college industry. We're still very, very young in Australia. We've got a long way to go, and I think we have to work collaboratively in the future to understand the whole industry so that we end up with a very strong industry, and we don't end up with an industry that over time just slowly disappears because we don't have that sort of level of input that other countries have.
Got you. So on that point, then where does the ADA Dissociation fit into the scheme of things? What role does it play in that journey?
Well, we're really the overarching body for all Australian producers of spirit. And so our role really is to advocate at both state and federal level around everything. Obviously tax reform is a massive one for us because we're the only country in the world that still gets 2 excise price hikes every single year forever. And at the moment that's going on forever. So that's a massive part of what we do at the ADA, is to constantly make sure government know we're there. We're doing the research to supply government to try and get some movement and some tax reform around excise tax. And then we also deal with individual state issues around, different states have different challenges around their own state legislation,
Yep.
Around their own councils within those states that can cause grief. I know we get a lot of emails, a lot of phone calls around, distillers starting up or distillers currently having issues with local governments who have decided to change the rules or done something. So we really work hard on that aspect. And then there's all the other underlying stuff like, labelling reform. We're just going for a big program with energy on labelling now. So that's a big piece of work for an organisation like us, to make sure that we don't let these government, organisations just take off in a crazy direction and they have absolutely no understanding of how our industry works. So it's really important we're on top of that.
Yep.
We have the container recycle scheme, for example, that we've been working really hard on the last couple of years to manage. We've got some great headwind in Queensland at the moment with the first 20,000 containers for small producers not being eligible for the scheme, which means it's saving our members a lot of money.
Yep.
And then we look as a national organisation to do things like develop export markets. We've got a big contingent of members heading up to Hong Kong in a few weeks' time for a big trade show up there. And then we look at how we can save money for our members. It's really, really important. And we have a philosophy now in the ADA that we want to give you 5 times back what you invest. So if your membership fee is $1,000 a year, we need to make sure that we give you $5,000 of value.
Right.
And that's a combination of things. So really starting to look at our industry around, can we link in? So for example, we've just done a great program with a company called Serious Insurance. And they're combining all of our members together. So it gives us a lot more buying power. We're seeing some amazing savings. We're doing the same in Power. We're doing the same with Australia Post. And we'll continue as organisations to look where those opportunities lie.
Yes.
To combine our membership to save them money. Because at the end of the day, we need to understand, we need to be able to save our members money.
Brilliant. So let's talk about now the conference coming up in June in Adelaide. What is one of the highlights you're looking forward to, do you think?
I think the biggest highlight is every year is just people in the industry getting together.
Mm-hmm.
I see conference as a prime example of you don't know what you don't know. And you get to this conference, right, and you start talking to your peers and different people from different distilleries, and you get these pieces of gold that you've been grafting away in your business, and it's very easy to get tunnel vision when you're in your own 4 walls, right? Yes. Grafting away to make a living. And you get to this conference and it's much more relaxed, and you get to chat to these people and you just find these nuggets and you go, why didn't I think of that? And I think that's the biggest advantage of getting to our national conference, is actually just being able to have those one-on-one conversations with your peers. And then when we add on top of that our guest speakers, our keynote speakers, our breakout sessions, there's just so much entertainment, so much knowledge that you can gather from this conference. It's just phenomenal. And what better place, right? We're going to be in Adelaide in June. Perfect. Great bars. I'm sure people will head off into town, see some great bars, talk to the whole.
They're very proud of their spirits in South Australia. They're very proud. I think proud they are. Yeah. I'm really looking forward.
And some great brands down there, right? And I think our tours. We start the tours, the conference tours to different distilleries and different organisations the day before the conference, and they are absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, they look great. It's free to choose them, isn't it?
Yeah. So I think it's an action-packed day. And look, you can't be on the first night, drinks night, when everyone gets together for the first drink and a yarn is always a highlight for me. I love it.
Yeah. I think I'll be emceeing the conference. I'm really honoured to have that opportunity. It's gonna have to be my A game to keep you guys in line. I think
I think probably me. I'm sure. I'm sure people on the AD have always already warned you about me, Phil. I don't have much of a filter, so yeah, they've probably already warned you. So yeah, could be a tough gig, but there's going to be plenty to drink, so you be able to have a martini and chill out.
I'll definitely earn it. That's for sure. I know it. All right. So where can people register if they haven't done it already?
Go on to australiandistillers.org.au and you can register on there straight away. Get on. You'll see it also in our social media, so on our Facebook, on our LinkedIn. Get on there, register. We have an amazing gala dinner as well. So if you can't make it for the whole conference, the gala dinner is really worth getting together with industry on that last night. We've got some industry awards happening that night. So it's a great event, which really, if you're in the spirits industry in any form, bar owner, supplier, distiller, our gala dinner is not something you should miss. It's the highlight of the year.
Yeah, so those awards, they're the first time they've happened, haven't they? First year for the awards?
We didn't have them last year, but a couple of years ago we did have them when we had the conference in Brisbane.
Okay.
But it hasn't been to this level. We're trying to sort of upgrade the way the awards are done. And so I think this year will be the sort of first step into that new aspect of it, new upgrade of how we're putting it together, which would be great.
That's going to be really exciting. And I guess finally, too, coming back to your point about the connections you meet, it's got a great networking opportunity. There's people who are not just distillers. You reminded me that there's going to be people throughout the industry present as well. So the networking and the contacts you're going to make will be amazing.
And it's not just small privately owned distillers, right? We'll have at this conference some of the CEOs of the big international brands, global international brands. So these are people that most of us don't get to chat to every day of the week. And I think what you can learn from some of these global brands as a small brand is invaluable. And then suppliers, suppliers like packaging suppliers, glass suppliers, marketing organisations, all these little techniques that you need, some AI, all these things, just the value is phenomenal.
Something not to be missed. So friends, if you've ever registered already, get onto it right now. Thanks for your time. I know you're a busy man. Thanks, David. And I'll see you soon in Adelaide.
Thanks, Philip. Look forward to it. See you in a few weeks.
All right.
Cheers.